Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Adventures in Arcane Space. Once again, I'm your Dungeon Master, AuldDragon, and the players are...
Hi, I'm David Big Mac Shepherd. I play Braxon Miacc, who's a human fighter from an asteroid close to Bral.
Hi everyone, I'm Dakami-sama and I play Solas Ebha, who is Half-Elven Cleric Mage of Ogma.
Hey everyone, I'm James. I play Ockar, human Paladin from Bral, who might have to be part of the legal defense to get us off the hook. And I won't be here next week because I'll be at a convention.
Hello, everyone. I'm Salem Motor. I play Finnel'ar Mohani, a druid from Grayspace.
Hi, I'm Levalithana Seshazar, an Elven Wild Mage.
Hey there, I'm Zakat. I play Lafdul Moonglade, an elven special priest and thief. He comes up with fun titles every week, so his current title is Lebel Lambasted, or Lambast, Lawsuit Laden Looter. That sounded awful as I said that out loud.
It is a
I'll take
lambast,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got like ED on it, so I was like, what, do you just ignore that one? I was looking at the pronunciations.
Lambasted.
Yeah.
So, for viewers who wish to give the players an advantage in the game, 500 bits will get them a reroll, and thank you very much for those bits for Lafdul's title on Anghammarand. Currently, Braxon has 1, Finn and Ockar have 0, Lafdul has 1, Leva has 3, Solas has 4, and I, the Dungeon Master, have a poor piddling measly little 11. So we left off last time. The party had just been informed that they were now the subject of a lawsuit. So remember, this is not this is not about breaking the laws or anything. It's a civil procedure.
Yeah,
Irving too, because Lafdul accidentally dropped something on a guy's head.
allegedly.
No, I rolled a 1 or something when I was throwing the sword at this flying creature that's getting away, and it just hit some civilian.
I think he accused us of ruining his life.
Basically,
Allegedly.
yes. So there's a litany of charges, not all of which are listed in the lawsuit document, but it starts with that, and basically he's accusing you of having cursed his life. And the final straw was that you have temporarily destroyed the market for gem importation. Just before he got back into town, according to the document there.
Oh, you know what? He'd be like public enemy #1 if I had a gem shop.
Does that mean Lafdul's going to keep coming back to Bral with like enough gems to flood the market every time?
Sounds like a fun pastime for me.
We don't even know who this guy was.
Yeah, I mean, it's not someone that you've ever heard of before. Browdle Falderic. But he is indeed suing you. So the official document that you have received requires you to present yourself to the High Magistrate 1 week hence for the initial proceedings.
Okay, which magistrate is it in the lower city?
High Magistrate.
Yes, the high magistrate.
Oh, above them all.
It's the upper city.
Yeah, Upper City.
Okay,
The High City.
okay.
So,
That's
would it be local history to see if there are any really good lawyers that I know?
Yes.
Okay, I'll...
Actual use for that proficiency.
Yeah. So my score for that is 17.
Mm-hmm.
Ran a dot.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
The best barristers on Brawl, you'd know them mostly for handling contract law. Is Holstoy and Gavich. That is going to be 31. Now I got to go find it. Should be right around here. Yeah, there we go.
I was gonna say I found 32 pretty quickly.
Yeah, it has a larger number because it's a bigger building, and you were staying there. It's an inn.
So
It is.
I'd be like, oh, I know some lawyers.
Well, you know
Right
of.
around the
You
corner.
don't know.
I know of some. I know of some really good lawyers we could go to.
Starfarer's Rest. Sure. I'd rather. Well,
So none of us knows this person, right?
I've never heard of
yeah.
them.
I want to
Uh,
know what the local townsfolk think of this person. You know, go
Yeah, I
around
think
talk
we
about
should
this person.
ask around about him.
But I'd rather do it incognito as disguised individuals.
Well, if you want to, well, I want to go talk to a lawyer as the first thing to do since we're being sued. If you want to go do that, maybe me and Braxon can go talk with the lawyer. He's the head of the since Braxton's head of the company.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
You've been volunteered, Captain.
I have been volunteered. I do think it's sensible that we investigate a lawyer
Yes.
and see if we can hire one in Gems.
I mean, they'll probably take it. Who knows?
So, Braxon and Ockar, do you want to basically go there right away?
I was thinking of doing that. What about you, Braxton?
Okay.
Right.
Well, let's see if anyone else wants to come.
This is within my Thieves Guild's territory, right? Where
Yeah.
he just. So I am gonna pay a visit to my Thieves Guilds at some point and make inquiries about this person. Obviously, he's a merchant, so he's either paying protection money or something.
Liver would go with Braxon and Ockar.
Okay.
That's good. Anyone else?
Solas would make some general inquiries about this person, like general in what business he's in and such.
Where do you want to go to do that?
Solas would do that in the marketplace.
Okay. All right. So.
I think Finn will tag along with Solas on this one.
Okay. So Solas and Finn will be going to the marketplace, and just make some quick notes here.
Basically, seeing what the local merchants and such think about this person.
And Leva, you're going to go with Braxon and Ockar?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have we got time to take notes of what the legal document says?
Yeah, we should all probably make copies of it or something.
I mean, Braxon and Ockar, you would need to take it to the lawyers.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
you're going right away,
like-
then you're not really going to have time to copy it. But
We
you can
get
always
one
do that
copy, then
later.
everyone.
And I mean, Lafdul, Solas, and Finn, you're more asking about who the guy is, so the particulars of the document right now don't necessarily make that much of a difference.
Alright.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Basically, Solas would just look at what the document says about the person and some of the accusations, like the flooding of the gem market, that would be involved with mercantile activities.
Yeah. Okay, so Braxon, Ockar, and Leva, you take your document and head to the Holstoy and Gavich.
Yeah.
They are by far the most prestigious of the barristers on Bral. There's a number of other offices and things like that. The majority of them deal with things relating to contracts. This is not a place where it is common for people who actually have to go before the magistrate for criminal things. Typically have, you know,
Well, my hope
lawyers
is
on
either they can help us or they can recommend someone who can, because lawyers know lawyers.
Right. I'm giving you just a background of things that you would know, your characters would know.
Yeah.
Most people, they go to the magistrate, they present their argument, and the magistrate, like the guards who brought them in, for criminal things, the guards who bring them in, list out what they're accused of. The accused gives their reaction, they're try to excuse it or explain it or whatever, and then the magistrate makes a decision. More complex things like a murder trial, and certainly almost anything dealing with someone from the high city, a noble or something like that, would involve lawyers. But the lawsuits that the lawyers typically get involved in, where they would actually be, going into the magistrate to make arguments, are generally contract disputes. Like, party 1 says that they had a contract that said this, and party 2 says, no, it didn't specifically say this, blah, 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 that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving you a heads up of what that would entail. So, you head to Holstoy and Gavich, the three of you, and it is a very nice office. It's an older building, and Ockar, you know that this one has been around for quite a while. Like, so they're quite famous, and the position of the building right here on the corner makes them, quite well known, because anyone passing by here kind of sees their offices. So you walk in and speak to the secretary there, informing them that you have a legal issue that you'd like to consult with. And she bids you wait while she speaks to someone about it. You would show her the document, but you would still keep it. So you know that Holstoy and Gavich themselves, they've been dead for a while. The current facility is run by the son of one of the two of those, Maynard Holstoy.
Makes sense. Family business.
Yep.
Right.
But one of the lesser barristers will come out and inform you that consulting is 100 gold pieces per hour. And that's like even just a consultation to see what's up, and give you that. That's even before like retaining them for services.
I'm fine with that. Does that go with you two?
You just imagine how much money the common person has. 100 gold, that's like several months worth of money.
Yeah,
Right.
We'll have to pay it.
So, like, the thing is that like they deal almost exclusively with the merchants.
This more rhetorical statement than not a...
But yeah,
Sounds
I mean
cool.
that's why this is who they are. Is like no one who does not have a lot of income can afford them.
And we do have quite a bit of money saved up.
Yep.
Lua agrees that's reasonable.
This
Okay.
is where we get another accusation of you've been buying out the lawyers.
So you are taken to a small office, cluttered with books and papers and documents of financial nature all over. And the lawyer takes a look at the barrister takes a look at your document, skims it, and says, This one, yes. We will not be able to represent you since we have actually been retained on the other side. I could give you a recommendation of who to some other lawyers, but you might be you might want to look for one yourself, considering that you may not trust our word on recommendations.
Well, I
Well, in that
imagine you'll
case-
still try to be rather fair about this, despite everything.
Lema says, or actually turns to the others and says, well, in that case, 100 gold is rather a lot. Just tell us that they can't do it.
He will give you some, like, I mean, he can give you some advice that is, like, nonpartisan kind of thing of like, what it means, what what it entails, what you might need to look for, since you are paying the 100 gold.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
he is being upfront and saying that he cannot take your case.
I guess it's
So
fine
who
to
would-
take a few recommendations and look in on our own side as well.
Yeah, he can give us some recommendations.
Yeah. We've got 59 minutes left.
Well, do you want to ask him questions about what the case entails?
Yeah.
What kind
What exactly does a case entail?
Yeah, please explain a bit further.
I meant, like,
Yeah.
do you guys have questions?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how did this person come to the idea that we were the ones who fouled up his business? What made him think that?
That's something that you'll have to learn through the course of the case. He means more like in terms of the law, the proceedings, that kind of thing.
All right. Well, how is this going on now? Well, he obviously has a lawyer, you, and if we find a lawyer, what's going to happen?
Well, the way that it will work is, he tells you, is that the lawyer would be there to consult on what arguments might work, what recommendations, things like that, the procedures and things like that. But you will still need to be making the arguments in court, partly because you guys are the players and I'm not going to be talking to myself.
Okay. What are the expectations we should imagine when we get in there? I don't think any of us have been in a courtroom before.
Not for this kind of thing. So he tells you that as the party being sued, you will have a choice of what type of trial you want. You can get a trial by jury, in which case 12 random citizens of Bral will be basically drafted in to listen to the case and hear the case. And their decision will stand. Or you can have a trial by concilium, which is a group of scholars. They would be learned in the law and things like that. And the specific number varies, and it depends on who exactly they get for that. So basically, his recommendation is, what do you think, as the one being sued, who do you think would be more likely to be on your side? Like, people who are not experts in knowledgeable fields and stuff like that, or, are you going to be making, highbrow arguments that would be complex and need people of learning to understand it?
Lara says, I don't think we actually have enough knowledge here among us to be able to decide on something like that without the advice of some lawyer who is on our side.
Right. Well, this is not a decision
Yeah.
that you need to make right now. It's when you go in a week, because you're
Yeah.
being
What-
called in a
Thank
week
you.
from now.
What would you say are the do's and don'ts that we should keep in mind when we get into the courtroom?
Well, first thing is that magic is absolutely barred. So there's no spell casting. There's a difference between like items that are always active kind of thing are that is a different type of thing. So if you wanted to have like you could invoke a crystal ball, for example, if you felt that would help your case, but you would not be able to cast a spell. If you do, you will be tackled by the guards and probably charged with some provocation or something like that. So keep that in mind.
So nothing like an augury spell or something.
Right. Obviously, you can do that on your own outside of court and things like that, and that can drive your case if that is something that you want to do. But if you go into court and start casting a spell, the guards are going to tackle you and you're going to be charged. So don't do that.
It won't do our case much good either.
Certainly not. But it would be like the idea is like if you're just like I was just gonna cast a spell to recreate in illusionary form what happened kind of thing, and it doesn't matter because until you actually complete the spell, no one knows whether you're gonna do that or power word kill. So
yeah.
Are we allowed to get a copy of what we're being accused with?
So it's not. Like, since it's not a criminal case, he is suing you for damages.
Yeah.
And the only potential bad outcome for you guys is losing money and property.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, is pretty bad, but you're not going to go to the underside or anything like that.
I don't mean that.
Right.
I mean, if there's allegations against us, we've got a piece of paper that's got a vague description of them.
Right, and that is all that you're going to get until trial actually undergoes.
Right,
in terms of the details, but you are going to have time. Like once their argument is done, you will have an opportunity, and it's a very much a back and forth kind of situation. So. He will describe a scenario, and then you have to give your rebuttal. And then he describes a further scenario, and you give your rebuttal, and that's sort of back and forth.
Are there witnesses?
You can call witnesses, yes. And
is he alone, or does he have witnesses?
That you won't know until he actually does any of that.
Okay.
So it is very much like... but at the same time, you're not required to tell him anyone that you're going to call.
Okay.
The magistrate will have final... Like, you do need to inform the magistrate, and that kind of thing. But your opponent is not required to be informed, just as they're not required to inform you.
Right. Okay. As for the thing with spells, are there court-appointed spellcasters that we can request to come in and cast spells?
No.
Okay.
That would be expensive to have on retainer.
I know. I just meant if we wanted a spell cast, we get a neutral person who's been approved, but there's a no there.
Yeah. There's just no spell casting.
Okay. And I imagine we have to... no taking in weapons or anything, of course.
Correct.
We're adventurers, we tend to have them on us all the time, so it's a good thing to ask.
Yeah, it's kind of leaves them at the door, or, there'll be like a section for leave your dangerous items here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he cannot give you a recommendation on, like, what kind of trial you want, but you'll have a week to think about it, and you'll get another... if you consult another lawyer, you can talk to them about it. But they're also not going to say which you should do. He's pretty confident that even someone that you pay is going to be like, who do you think is going to be more on your side?
Yeah. So
Okay.
does he have a list of all the other lawyers on Bral?
He can give you a couple recommendations based on how much you're willing to pay. Basically, is like if you say,
What are we looking at?
well, you're looking at, so they are the most expensive at 100 gold pieces per hour.
Mhm.
And basically, you can do anything from 10 gold an hour to 90 gold an hour.
Is it clear that the ones for 90 gold an hour is going to be better than the ones for 10 gold an hour?
They are usually better, yes.
Yeah. We may
Okay.
as well go with the most expensive we can afford.
In that case, yes.
Yeah. So 90.
Okay. Well, do you have any other questions for him since you are paying the hour consultancy?
Yes. How many hours could we look into? Could we look at doing this?
So that depends on like what you actually want them to do for you.
Braxon wants to ask if any of these other lawyers used to work for this company.
No.
Okay.
So if we want them to go to court with or for us and do the preps and everything that we don't now have the foggiest idea what to do, what do you think? How many hours could that be?
That would depend entirely on how like what kind of arguments the opponents are going to make and stuff like that. If you actually want them to be in court with you,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We probably would want that.
but you're basically looking at typically 6 to 8 hours a day if it spans over multiple days.
6 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah, while
So
you're
about
actually in court.
500 a day. Okay.
Now you can also choose to like not have them come into court with you and just be like an outside consulting, so that you're paying them a couple hour, you're spending the time with them a couple hours each day, like before or after or something like that, to give some advice or something like that.
Is there such a thing here in Bral where the loser pays the costs of the winner's lawyers?
You would need to countersue.
Oh,
Yeah.
That might be something to look into depending on how poor their case is.
yeah, and how much we have to pay.
Hmm.
Is there something you may have thought of? I don't know. I'm just putting it to you.
You're not here.
I'm okay with it. Like
Yeah.
like this is you guys would have had a
Yeah.
quick conversation before leaving, and
Yeah. Go ahead.
Whole thing is, actually, I wouldn't have known that these guys are the lawyers for them, so it kind of makes my question a bit moot in the manner of speaking.
well, I mean, go ahead and ask anyway.
What's their and what do they want out of this? There's usually like, what's the injured party looking for out of this? I suppose.
So that is in the document. It's not a specific amount, but it is compensation for lost business, and damages, and recovery fees. So the exact amount it's not stated yet because it's highly variable. And that will come into the argument in the like at the end of the trial. But what they're like, the lawyer can definitely tell you that they're looking for a high value amount in payment.
Never says, you do realize that if we were to lose, every other merchant in this city comes after us too. So we are going to work very, very, very hard to make certain that you lose.
I mean, that's like the expectation is that you will work really hard to
Yeah.
win. I mean,
How
like
much-
there is
how
always
much-
a choice of settling, but that would be up to them. Like you would.
Yeah.
How much is your client asking to be bought off?
That you'll need to wait until you actually go before the magistrate.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I thought you buy people off before the court case
Yeah,
starts.
it's usually like an informal settlement.
I mean, yeah, if you want to do an informal settlement, then then you make the
Yeah,
offer.
just
Well,
say,
it's
is
just
this-
if the guy said he wanted what it costs for a lawyer for 2 days, that might be cheaper.
Right, but so the the way it would be seen within Brawl is that rather than it being like an informal settlement, it's that you're bribing him to drop the case.
And I don't think that's a good thing to have out there.
But it doesn't. I mean,
Especially-
like it can be kept secret and stuff like that. But
I'd rather-
because it's seen more as a bribe, which are super duper common on Brawl. Bribes are super duper common. You make the offer. You're like, hey, can't we just forget about this if I invest X amount in your business, kind of thing.
Let's just go talk to our lawyer before we decide on this. I'm not sure how I feel about this path. Because I'd rather face the accuser myself.
Yeah. I just wanted to know
Agreed.
if he had a number in mind.
I mean, he might, but just the way that it works here on Brawl is that the
Fair
sued
enough.
party, essentially tries to bribe the other person off.
Braxon. Also, we probably come closer to the number necessary to bribe the other person after we all meet up again and they find out what sort of person he actually is. If he is a very successful businessman, then he may want an extraordinary amount of gold, whereas if it's just a small businessman, then he may be quite happy with a little bit more.
Yep.
Yeah. Is he gonna give us the list?
Yeah. So are you looking at the 90 gold piece business?
Is there somewhere where we can get a list of the others anyway?
I mean, like this is like he's offering you recommendations. There are others. If you want to go off and do your own research, then that is entirely on your own.
We'll take the recommendation, but I'm just wondering if we want to find out about other lawyers. Is there a list of lawyers somewhere that we can get hold of?
There really isn't. You just like ask around.
Right. Okay.
I'm thinking 90 might be our best shot if we want to get like a list of really good lawyers.
Yeah.
Okay. So his recommendation at the 90 gold piece per hour mark would be a relatively new firm. They've only been in business for about 15 years, but he says that they're quite good. So Javlarst Esquire is the lawyer in question.
Javlarst Esquire.
Is that on the list, or are you gonna add it?
There you go.
Okay.
That was it, sorry. Oh.
But you can like ask around and like say, hey, who's a really good lawyer kind of thing, and we're going to be going up against Holstoy and Gavich. Have you heard of anyone who's had good success against them? That kind of thing.
We need a lawyer called Vinny.
Oh God, no.
None of you have a cousin by that name. Do you really want to go into the High Magistrate and have your lawyer go Utes?
Well, let's just go. Let's just go and see what we can find.
All right.
Thank you.
So let's head over to Solas and Finn then. So you two are heading to the Great Market, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of merchants or sellers do you want to start talking to?
Well, the legal document we got mentioned that at least gem business was his gem business was ruined because of us. So perhaps jewelers and gem merchants on the market.
Okay. So you look around for some stalls that are selling gems or jewelry, and you do find one selling some nice trinkets, copper and silver rings with polished carnelian stones and things like that. And approach them, and how do you approach the merchant?
Solas would be like since ask first about generally about the market for the goods that he is selling, and then basically ask if he knows this named merchant of this name in the market, in that market.
Okay. Give me a second. Let me just type in the name for you guys, because I don't think I did that last week. Yeah, there we go. All right. So you approach him, and the merchant says, "I've heard of him. I don't have much dealing with him. He works in higher value goods than I deal with. You might want to check with one of the actual merchant houses, see if they know anything about him."
Any recommendations? What merchant house should we inquire about?
Oh, I mean, any of them would probably know something.
Okay, and is there any does he know anything in general about him, or has he heard anything about him?
Not really. He's a bit over my head in terms of people that I deal with.
Okay.
You wouldn't happen to know where he conducts business, would you?
Not specifically, but I believe he does have a merchant house here in the middle city somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So let's buy something as a thanks for the information.
All right, you can buy a 10 gold piece ring.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll let you decide what exactly it looks like. So, what you're looking at is one of the big merchant houses. You could go to House Kulek or House Zudrik, House Daxalt. You could go with one of the other, the Smith's Coster or trading company or something like that. They would all know, the big merchant houses and stuff like that.
Does anyone in the company have any good relationship with one of those entities, like Smith's Coster or?
We did a job for a merchant that was having their ships attacked. I think that was before Solas joined us.
Yeah, that would be before my time.
But if you was with Lafdul, weren't you?
No, it's Finn and Solas.
Finn, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're both new, so they won't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'd have probably talked about it on a ship, but if they can't remember the exact details, I can't remember the exact details.
So I believe, like, does anyone remember? Does anyone have that written down? Because I mean, I can
Hang on.
get you the information.
at one point I had a list of 3 merchants we helped at one point.
But that wasn't one of the houses. I mean, you could still talk to
Hang
them.
on. There was House Culane, I think we went to.
Okay, do you want to go?
House Torlan, and I'm trying to remember which one.
Torlin is the one you brought down.
Yeah, so House Culhane is the one we helped.
All right, you
And
want to
there was
go
a
talk
third
to
one
them?
we visited.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you head over to House Calhane and introduce yourselves as members of the Company of the Broken Sword. Since neither of you were part of that, but you would have heard about your relationship with them. The secretary says, "Hold on a moment while I speak with a superior."
Of course.
A few minutes later, the secretary will come back and say, "Yes, of course. We do remember you. All right, your service is remembered. What can we do to assist you today?"
We are looking information about a certain merchant named Braudel Faldoric.
What kind of information are you looking for? We are familiar with him.
At the moment, general information in this. He seems to be having some issues with us, and we have no idea who he is.
Well, he operates a small trading house, primarily dealing in whatever deals he can make at any given time. His goods tend to vary, many commodities. We have not had too many dealings with him over the years, but I do believe that he has dealt in gems and ore, foodstuffs, wool, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. What's his general reputation in the mercantile circles?
It's average. He can be aggressive in terms of getting the deals that he wishes. But otherwise, his reputation is fairly average.
Okay. Do you have any other general information about his company?
Well, I can give you his address.
Well, that might be useful if we decide to go. We decided that we should talk to him directly.
Okay, so she will give you the an address, and let me see, where is a good place for this building to be?
He's up and coming. He clearly wants to live in the high seas. He's got high expectations taking on the Company of the Broken Sword.
So, yes, but the house office would be in the middle or the low city, and he'd have like a warehouse kind of thing. So he would be down here in this building here.
Well, it's the Yakuza territory, isn't it?
No, actually, that's Juggler's Men territory.
Is that?
Yep.
Oh,
Whose territory?
The Juggler's Men.
my guild.
Yeah.
I don't know where. I know a guild's a high city around the middle market, but I don't know where it cuts off at.
Basically the like if you assume the top of the map is north, you've got south of the Great Market, and the red masks are pushing in from the north, trying to take the Great Market, and you've got the halflings are to the north as well, and the Yakuza is to the west. So let me go ahead and put a label on here.
I thought the halflings were the lower city.
Yeah, but the lower city is more to the north. There we go.
Really?
All right. I mean, it's north and west. That's where the cutoff is. Okay.
Yeah,
let's
basically
go
where
for
the lower market is, the lesser market or lesser market.
B2. Where's my text? There we go.
It definitely gives me the unlawful approach or leverage against this person.
Okay.
And let me go ahead and make a note. Okay. Okay, so that is House Falderic. So she'll give you some other information. Like they do not own any ships themselves. So basically, they you know the merchant house purchases goods coming in that are commodities, or they make consignments. Like they'll make an arrangement with an off-world merchant, and then hire a ship to like carry it, kind of thing, or something along those lines. And they're also known for like selling off commodities from Bral to go off to other locations as well.
Okay. How old is this merchant house?
About 10 years old.
So pretty new in the grand scheme of things.
A lot of houses are around that old. Many houses pop up and last for a number of years and then, fail, go under, kind of thing. So.
Okay. Well, do you have anything that you want to ask Finn?
Nothing you haven't already covered. So.
Okay.
Well, Solas would thank them greatly for this information and hope that their merchant house will find profitable deals in the future.
Thank you.
Sure, you're not a priest of Walkeen.
No, but Solas does come from merchant family.
And he can be polite. Okay, so Lafdul, you wanted to make some surreptitious inquiries?
No, I'll just be upfront about it.
Well, I mean, like,
What if-
not as yourself and stuff like that is what I want.
No, I'm going as a Thieves Guild at the moment.
Okay, you're going straight to the Thieves Guild. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so...
Firstly, I want to know if... Because I remember where I threw my sword at some point. I know that was obviously me, but I probably would have put 2 and 2 together. It's probably someone that worked around that area, and I'm wondering if that was in the guild territory at the time. So I'm wondering if the guild would know about this person. That was Lafdul's thought process.
Okay, so it was definitely not in the guild territory.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
No.
Was it not even nearby? I thought it was chasing up.
It was down in the Low City somewhere. I don't
Was it?
remember
Yeah.
exactly, but you were chasing the insect across rooftops away from
There's a lot.
the House Torlin warehouse, which was down in the Low City.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know if Lafdul would come to this conclusion then.
I mean, they might still know something about the
Yeah,
merchant.
I'll just do some general inquiries, and I don't know. Yeah, Lafdul wouldn't know that it's someone that's within their racket. So yeah, I will just ask around if. Well, I guess I go for the juice collector or the protection racket person. No, actually, I go to Samara first because she's the information broker of our guild.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I would ask her if she's in, if she knows of this person.
Hold on. Let me take a look. She flips through some notes she has. Yes, he is on the edge of our territory. Is paying protection on time. It looks like.
It looks like who's the next closest territory?
That would definitely be the Yakuza territory. It's not super close. There are some areas that are kind of nebulous, but
Yeah, Lafdul will sell this a bit funny in a way. It's like, you know, coming back from adventuring, go back to Bral, you have some stuff to sell, and apparently you find out you've got a lawsuit against you. And apparently from this individual, of all people, apparently we've been destroying his business. And, flooding the market with gems. And he's not too keen on that.
She gives you a hard look and says, "The juggler is not going to like that one of her guild members is being sued."
Well, not specifically me, the company I work for.
I'm not sure that's going to make too much of a distinction.
Definitely raises some eyebrows. Well, that is good. That may compromise my relationship with you in the guild if he suddenly were to mysteriously drop the case. That would draw way too much attention to me.
Well, it depends on why he drops the case. If he drops it because he drops dead, then yes. If he just drops the case because he came into a little bit of investment, then no one would ask anything. It's more the worry about us coming to light in such a situation. If you can keep that from happening, then you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Voice held up my end. Yeah, we're going to, well, as far as our premises of the company that I work with, we were just going to go about this the traditional way, or at least that's the motive that our company wanted to do, is to get some lawyers and hash it out, I guess. I mean, I'm only one member of the company. You know, I can get outvoted on these things. And well, basically, we were going to investigate and figure out who this person was, how many of these accusations were true, how many of them were false. Oh, the first one, and when I think that one is true because I did throw a sword, and I think it did hit someone. That's a minor thing, I suppose.
Well,
Yeah,
as long as you can keep any connection between yourself and us from coming to light, it would be fine. We can help in some ways, but again, making it too obvious that there are connections between the lawsuit and the Thieves Guild would not be good. But certainly information is something that I can help with.
Yeah, I try to memorize a list of things that we've been accused of.
So, the list was very vague, and you would have realized that, you know, from the way it was written, like a lot of the things that you're accused of aren't going to come to light until the trial. But it does start with the being hit with the sword, and ending with ruining the market for his new, his shipment of gems that he was bringing in.
Well, I'm gonna come back and forth a few times, I suspect, as it's gonna be. We got different members of my group that are working at different angles.
Well, if you have any questions that I might be able to answer right now, I can certainly see what I can do.
Can you make sure he is definitely within our racket, that he hasn't been bribed off by the Yakuza or whatever? They're the next closest, I think.
What do you mean by bribed off? You mean like that the Yakuza is...
Like, as in the Yakuza are trying to take over the territory and...
So as it stands right now, there is no evidence that this has anything to do with the Thieves Guilds.
Oh yeah, I know that. But...
I mean, she can tell you that so far as she knows. I mean, other than the fact that he does have to deal with the Yakuza and or the halflings down in the low city around the docks areas for, shipments coming in and stuff like that. Other than that, there's no, and the fact that he's paying protection to the Juggler's Men, there's no obvious connection between any of the other Thieves Guilds.
Yeah. I think I had an angle I wanted to ask, but I just didn't know how to ask it. Alright,
I mean, if there's something that you're not sure exactly how to ask, you can try to articulate it, and I will try to figure out what you mean.
No, I just try to learn of his business and what she knows of him, what he works on. Is there any history with him? Just general information about the individual.
Yeah. So basically, the what she can tell you is that his business has been doing pretty well the last couple of years.
Since we've been away, coincidentally.
And he basically deals in whatever deal that he can make at the time. So he doesn't deal in any particular thing. So the conclusion that you can draw is that it was just a coincidence that he happened to be bringing gems in, importing gems, at this time when you sold off all these gems. It is not that he constantly deals in gems. He deals with whatever he can make a deal on, and that he thinks will make him a profit.
Is he a run-of-the-mill cowboy? tell you that. Alright, does the guild use him for offense or anything? To sell stuff since he's on the rack, or is he above board?
So far as they're aware, I mean, most merchants are perfectly happy to make use of smuggling if they think they can get away with it. So there is some evidence that he has engaged in smuggling on occasions to try to get around, import duties and things like that. But he is not like a known consistent smuggler. He is not known to have, so he's fairly average is kind of what you're picking up. So far as the Thieves Guild is concerned.
Alright. Don't think I have any more questions, at least at the moment. Obviously, I'd have to come back to her later in the day if she's in. I'll get an idea of how long she'll still be in for the rest of the day.
Yeah. I mean, if other players have things that they think that, Lafdul might have thought of that Zakat didn't, I mean, right now it's collaborative, so, your information gathering, I'm fine if anyone else has a question that they've thought of.
Has he paid the protection racket for long?
I mean, he's up to date on his protection payments.
I mean, has he been for long in the paying years?
Yeah.
So it's well invested in the juggler's racket and
Well,
payment thing.
Here's a couple of questions that might cross your mind. One is, has that guy's behaviour changed recently? Could he have been replaced by someone? And has he got anyone new working for him? Has his business changed subtly?
Yeah, I could ask the general nature is of, well, I mean, I got an idea of the stuff he sells and stuff, so I'd assume that the personality question would be thrown in with that.
She would have to look into those kinds of questions. She doesn't have, basically, what she currently knows about him is that he's up to date on his protection payments. He may engage in smuggling, and that he's been around. He's been operating for about 10 years now. So, he hasn't really registered on her radar as anything special.
Interest.
Yeah. So far as she knows, nothing has changed recently in terms of his behavior or his actions or his hiring, but she hasn't investigated him, so she can certainly look into that kind of thing if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just say that. Oh, that would just be funny if I ended up buying out his business if we were if Lafdul wants his new sculpting and gem merchant shop, it would be a shame if his were to disappear suddenly.
Well, given the fact that he's currently suing you, and it is going to be
long run.
Well, I'm just saying that if he disappeared, it would be very suspicious.
Yeah.
I mean, if Samara would absolutely tell you that if you bribe him to drop the case, no one's gonna look at that in askance, kind of thing.
I would definitely inquire if there's also the possibility of a settlement. I don't know what my company wants to do. Obviously, you've got your own goals being the guild, but that is something that we are interested in knowing, at least what kind of ballpark of a figure that he might look for settle, because he was looking for compensation essentially.
Yeah.
And we've got no idea how much, so any kind of hint on that would put us down a certain path, I guess.
So she, not knowing much about it, she can certainly, like make some inquiries along those lines, see if she can figure out what he might be looking for in terms of a bribe to drop the suit.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll take a couple days.
Yeah, and I've given her a time frame that this has got like a week, basically.
Yeah. Well, a week before your initial hearing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can bribe him to drop it at any time. Like, you could be in the middle of...
oh, yeah, I figured that, but...
Yeah. Like, he could be in the middle of questioning, and you could drop a sack of gold on his table, and he's like, I'm dropping my case now, kind of thing, is, like, that would not be unusual.
Alright, now I need to head back to the party and see what Label learns and stuff. I'll make general inquiries around that area. I mean, I would have learned where his business is. I guess it's like news. Now know he's in our territory.
Yeah,
she would have given
you the location.
Yes, I just make some general inquiries to the area and how well that area is doing.
It's doing fine. Like it's not really that contested by, like, it's not. It's like on the edge of the territory, but it's not contested by the Yakuza. Kind of thing.
The Yakuza and jugglers have been standoffish. They've just not really.
They're
Mage.
basically happy with where their borders are right now.
Oh, fair enough. Alright, then at some point I will find the other party members.
Okay.
Go back to a agreed upon return point.
Braxon, Ockar, and Leva, would you have wanted to head over to Javlarst, or did you want to go circle back with the rest of the party and talk?
Leva would vote for going straight to the other lawyers.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. What do you think, Ockar?
I just realized I was muted. I said I'd like to go to Javlar's.
Okay. Okay. So you guys would head over there, and that one is going to be That is going to be this one here.
Oh.
That purple building.
Purple building.
All right, so you would basically be presenting yourself and saying that you're considering hiring them, and they would quote you the 90 gold pieces an hour.
Yeah.
And they are willing to take your case.
Okay, yeah, we'll hire them.
Well, you might want to talk to the rest of the party first and decide if you want to just go with the suggested group, or if you want to ask around, find something else.
Oh, that's something. Sorry to interrupt. That's something I would have learned when I was at the Thieves Guild to know, because I would have mentioned that the company was thinking about hiring lawyers. I would have got a rundown for does the guild interact with any of the lawyers? Or law firm companies, or do they racket them? I'm just trying to get a feel for how they interact with them in general.
So basically, all of them in that area do pay protection money, but they
it's just left a lot.
The Thieves Guild generally avoids lawyers.
Probably for good reason. No, I was just trying to get an idea if any corrupt or bribable magisters, barristers, and stuff like that. Which ones are bad, which ones are good.
So
Which
first of
ones
all,
do the thieves guilds particularly use if they really have to?
So Samara will tell you that every single magistrate is bribable. You have to be circumspect in how you do it, but every single one of them they have bribed in the past. The High Magistrate is the one that is the most difficult to bribe, just because of the value and how how you go about it. The easiest one being, of course, Low Magistrate. And so if you're looking at that route, you're looking at thousands of gold pieces for a bribe.
Tens of thousands or just thousands?
Thousands. But
Right.
upper thousands.
6k to 9k then.
Yeah.
Still an idea that we didn't have previously.
I mean, you might not want to mention that to the lawful good members. Or, I mean, at least in terms of as a route that you might want to take, but you could mention that you learned that they are bribable, meaning that maybe he's bribed them. Maybe you should keep an eye on that kind of thing. Keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
No, it depends on how the other party interacts with me, so what information I end up telling them, that's all.
Right, but what I mean is like you could present it as you've learned that it is entirely possible that Braudel Falderic has bribed the magistrate.
Right.
In terms of the lawyers, most of them are pretty much on the up and up, but most of them also deal with contract law, so it's like, it is more profitable for them to deal fairly in contract law, and things like that, and Holstoy and Gavich, like Samara would tell you that you could try bribing them to see if they stop representing him, but they have a reputation that they want to preserve, so you'd be looking at a pretty large bribe to get them to drop it, to make up for the potential reputational hit. And that kind of goes across the board with most of the lawyers, is that most of the time there's not a big reason to bribe them, because they would be worried about, their reputation and stuff like that.
It's better to go to the client than the organization.
So, but the Thieves Guild generally avoids dealing with the all of the barristers if they can, because again, like they don't have a whole lot to do. Like they don't have a whole lot to do with contract law, and when they do make kind of contracts with people, they're usually a little bit legalistic about it. So, but certainly if you wanted to, like, hey, what's the reputation of this particular lawyer?
I would have got a brief rundown. I wouldn't have gone a super in-depth one.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean,
because I know my company's got money, and they would probably go for like some of the higher end ones, so I get like a bit of information of some of the higher end ones.
Right, but like
it's mentioned.
More. It's a lot easier to get concrete information if you're like, what do you think of this particular firm, as opposed to, hey, give me a list of all of the top ones and what you think of them.
Alright, well, I don't know, because I'll
right.
have
You
to find out
don't
from
know. You don't know about the
price ranges and that or anything.
right.
So,
and you don't know what the rest of the party has learned yet.
All right, back to the others.
All right. So you guys all get back together to discuss it. I mean, 3 of you really should not be making a decision on hiring this one lawyer without at least getting assent from the other 3.
Probably going to meet with the others.
One is the captain, one is the first officer. That's like a huge sway in what does in the company anyway.
Probably best to go discuss with the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably would have met back at where we're staying, or.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, how much was that? Because I haven't deducted a guild from that. It was like 5 guild if it's bread and breakfast.
Yeah, I believe so.
What a day. Is that just bed and breakfast, or is there any like amenities or?
I thought it
like
was with food.
Yeah, it's food. It's not just breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
1 without and 5 with, something like that.
Oh, I'll put down a week's payments now.
Braxon was going with the cheap option. 1 gold per day.
I mean, you can also you can meet up in a tavern, in a restaurant. You can meet up in a public place. I mean, you know, I'm not too concerned on where you're meeting up at the moment.
I've deducted the fee cost anyway for the week.
Okay, so go ahead and talk about what you guys have learned and where you want to go from now.
So they've hired the really good lawyers, and we got a recommendation for some other decent lawyers, but we wanted to see if you guys wanted to go with that recommendation or try to find something for ourselves.
Well, we might ask around if which lawyers have had best luck against their lawyers.
Yeah.
But
that's one way to go.
Solas would basically repeat what he and Finn learned during their trip about Raudel and his business.
Yeah, I would either confirm or add on to what I would know of the business, but obviously I'm keeping anything about the Thieves Guild out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is someone who's acting as a bad actor to us, or someone that genuinely has a problem with us.
I mean, I did throw a sword. It did hit someone, I think. I did hear a scream at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not a good idea to keep saying that. But yes.
Probably best to deny that.
I mean, I'm wearing an amulet of non-detection, so no one's scrying on me.
I don't think Ockar would say that.
Yeah, keep in mind that honesty is a pretty important tenet of Tyr's faith.
Paladin.
True.
Not just Paladin, but Tyr's faith in particular.
Yeah. But I mean, that aside, us selling diamonds is not any sort of criminal offence. If he wanted to sell diamonds at the same time,
he's just throwing whatever he can at us based on that one thing that did actually happen.
Right, but so remember, it's not a criminal offense. This is not a criminal case. This is civil.
I know.
It's the way we.
Yeah, but like
basically they are implying that we flooded the gem market because we knew that they were going to be selling and importing gems.
I think we can gather evidence that we came back to Bral after being thrown far away from Bral in a cosmic storm and were stuck with a load of gems and needed to sell them. So I think we can cover that there. That's clearly got nothing to do with him. I think we need to look at the various other things we're accused of doing. The sword on the head thing is probably something where we just have to say, look, sorry if a sword fell on your head. It may or may not be a sword belonging to us. But here's some money to cover any any healing costs that you incurred.
I would also give the party a rundown of how his business has been doing based on what little information I had, but it would still give an idea, right? He was doing really well for the last 2 years until we came back, so you can see why he's annoyed.
You don't know how the last weekish has really treated his business. The information that you got is that he's been doing well for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
That's what you know.
So, has he made any accusations about us in between a sword landing on his head and us selling a bunch of gems?
Yeah, so basically the document lists, like, it doesn't list, it states that starting with that and ending with starting with the sword hitting him and ending with the ruining the market for gems on Bral, and various events in between.
So it doesn't state what these are?
Correct.
Well, we can verify that we weren't on Bral.
But the sword to the head was more than 2 years ago.
Yeah, the sword...
So we're interested in the earlier events, just after the sword on the head. The others we can dismiss.
Before we know exactly what we are accused of, and not just a general thing, I think best options would be to find more about this merchant, and also prepare character witnesses to our company.
Yeah.
So possibly talk with people we've helped and such, if they would be willing to testify on our honorable nature.
Yeah, we might be able to get House Kalar to testify for us.
We got those Shao people that we helped as well, the one that married off.
We could... I mean, that thing at that time was just after one of the people working for the lower watch was murdered, so we might be able to get testimony there that we dealt with someone that was murdering officials on the Rock of Bral.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, I think I'd like to go have a look at his business myself.
Okay, just like head out and watch the storefront kind of thing? Or
I was actually going to walk right in.
Okay. Okay, we'll do that when you guys are ready to like split up. Then.
Yeah, and I'm just bringing it up to the party now.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's something I was interested in, but I wasn't going to go as me. Because I get the feeling he may recognize me, he may not, I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm kind of counting on since I'm relatively new here.
Yeah, he won't have any idea who you are, and if I go as someone else, then...
You could act as separate people and kind of like see what happens kind of thing, too.
Different angles.
Yeah. Because it'll give us some information no matter what happens when I go. If I'm thrown out immediately, we're going to know he's got someone watching us.
Sounds good to me.
And if not, I'll get a look at his business, see how horrible he's actually doing.
And while you are doing that, I think at least some of us should start asking around for those potential character witnesses for our side, and I would be willing to do that.
Yeah, I couldn't find that underwriter when I went looking for him recently. I don't think.
Well, I mean, like, you've got a week in-game time, so there's plenty of time to figure some of this out. And even then, you don't necessarily need to get them lined up beforehand either. So, however, that does, and again, you don't have to make a decision on this, but with the way that you're talking about doing this, does that give you any idea on what you might prefer in terms of what kind of trial? Trial by jury or trial by concilium?
Can we make the decision after we've heard the accusations?
No.
So we have to make it before.
Yeah, because that is what you will need to decide when you go in the week, and most of the accusations will be coming up during the trial when he's making the argument as to why he deserves compensation from you.
Who chooses the people if we have a trial by jury?
The magistrate does.
Right.
I'm not mentioning this, but do I have a feeling that the Thieves Guild could influence the jury people that are randomly selected?
They might, yeah. You would have the idea that might be something that they can do.
Alright.
Something that best left not said to Solas.
I'm not
or
saying
Ockar.
anything.
Yeah, he's not saying. He specifically was not saying something.
Yeah.
I think
You don't need
as
to bring
stupid
up
as
that
I'm made out to
you should
be.
not say that to someone unless he's actually starting to do that, and you're like, maybe you shouldn't do this kind of thing as a player.
It was mostly that. That's definitely something that Lafdul would think on himself, but not with the rest of the party.
I think I think we might be sort of getting some sort of reputation as local heroes, and we might be better off with a jury rather than these experts. These experts are going to be people looking at how much this guy says he's lost.
And they'd also be looking at like they'd also be thinking about past precedent. They'd be thinking about like how likely it is that his argument is actually true on the face, and the jury does get to ask questions as well. So
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I suspect he'll get us for the sword blow on the head aspect, if he is indeed that person. Assuming we can't prove someone else got hit on the head by a sword.
Memory read would tell me.
Did you ever recover the sword?
No. He might have kept it as a souvenir.
Yeah.
That's now conveniently at a law firm's place. Oh, that's the question. Because you would have told me what you would have told from Ockar, Braxon, Leva. You would have told us like a rundown of what's to be expected in a courtroom or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what magical items are allowed? So no active magical items, but passive ones are. Do we have to say what these items are?
So basically, like,
do I have to declare that I have an amulet of non-detection?
No.
Right.
So, but basically, like, if you want to use something that's active, then you have to request from the judge, from the magistrate, to be able to use it. If it is a passive thing that has no visible, obvious effect, like your amulet of non-detection, there is no obvious sign that it is working, kind of thing.
Right, yeah, no, I'm just wondering if they obviously try to use some kind of divination magic against me. It should fail because of the amulet.
Right, but at the same time, like if they try to cast a spell, then they will be tackled too. And if you like pull out a wand, like if you pull out a wand or hold up your hand with a ring on it and start saying a command word, they're gonna try to tackle you too. So like,
oh yeah, I know.
It's more of like if something could potentially be seen as a hostile act, that's what's going to get you tackled by the guards.
Sorry, how do I feel about my granted power? Because they're just an act of will. I just stare in a direction. I don't have to gesture or anything.
So again, it's more along the lines of if you think you can do it without being caught.
I'm just throwing it out there. If I cast chaos in the courtroom, would anyone know it's me? I mean, the party would, because they know I can do that, but there's no obvious tell other than knowing the individual has that ability.
Correct, but it would be pretty obvious that something did happen, and
Oh yeah, it would. I was just curious. I want to know for the tells of my character.
right. It is an act of will. Now.
Right.
You do have to, like, some of them you do have to, like, point or something like that, depending on the specific power, but in general, so again, it's like, it's very much based on what other non-magical people would perceive your action as being.
Alright.
Which is
It's
why
a
if you
shame I'm
like
not.
brought in a crystal ball and requested to use it without casting a spell, then you can make that request and the magistrate will make a decision on it, but you can't. There's no requesting a casting of a spell or something like that.
Alright, that's fine.
That kind of thing.
So as long as I only use the Ring of Three Powers as a Ring of Protection, there's basically no reason to give it up.
Yeah. And you can wear your armor as well, like, armor, bracers, rings, that kind of thing. Depending on what you think that is going to, how that's going to play with either the jury or the concilium.
I think we just present ourselves as we are adventurers. You can see that we are adventurers.
Right, but like it.
No weapons, obviously.
Right, weapons are not allowed. But again, it's all about visual. So like if you had a hidden weapon, you can still try to sneak it in and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I got wrist sheaths and stuff that I probably won't be wearing. So
I'm just
off my
letting
sheaths.
you know what things are, how it would act, not to tell you what to do or anything like that, but just so that you get a feel for how things would be handled. Okay. So anything else that you guys want to discuss?
I again suggest that asking similar level lawyers than the one we got recommended that have good reputation going against our opponent.
So you don't want to go with this one yet?
Not yet, at least without asking
all
around first. But
that's fine. It might cost us 90 gold pieces to talk to this one, so it might cost us a bit of money to talk to others.
I mean, you already
but that's
talked.
fine.
No, they like you talked to them enough to find out whether they would take the case,
Right.
and that
Okay.
does not cost anything.
Oh, it didn't. Oh,
No,
okay.
It never costs anything to just like find out if they will take the case.
On their fees.
Well, it did with the first lot.
Well, yeah, but you were
Yeah,
asking them.
that's a
You were
consultation.
asking them specifically for a consultation.
Right, I see. Fair enough. Okay. I mean, ideally, what I'd want is lawyers that want to beat this lot.
Yeah, investment.
Yeah.
And who
reputation.
have good and if possible, lawyers that have good reputation going against the lawyers of our opposition.
Yeah, and lawyers that know if he's been doing lawsuits against multiple other people.
But yeah, I think splitting the party to do these three things would be okay.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, because this may be important come the day. How does the party obviously views me as the locksmith, I suppose, or the person who opens traps and stuff? Obviously, I carry lockpicks with me. How is that viewed in society if I'm... Because obviously I'm known within the company to do this, but obviously is it like a place that you would have to register that you have lockpicks, or you're like the person who opens as being part of an adventuring group, or what?
So
Because if they decide to go through my bag of accessibility, they're going to find lockpicks, and that's going to get raised up. So I need to know ahead of time.
So if you make it clear that you are the party troubleshooter who, makes sure that if they're, if you're in an evil wizard's tower trying to rescue a princess, that you know how to prevent his traps from killing you, and you know how to get through the doors and stuff like that. That's very much a oh yeah. I mean, obviously a group like that would need someone like that, and there isn't like unless there's evidence that you have also illegally picked locks, because that's not like illegal, partly because it's outside of anyone's jurisdiction. you know, um, it's not seen as any different from oh hey, we need to get into the bridge on this pirate vessel that we've just boarded. Someone smashed down the door. Like, it's not seen as any different from that.
Yeah.
Unless there's evidence that you do it illegally in the city.
You also don't have to take lockpicks into the court case.
Right.
You could leave them behind.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going to leave our stuff behind, because we put the ship in for repairs.
Your
office, I suppose.
You can leave it in the office. Those of you with private rooms can leave it in your private rooms, at an inn, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like if you portray yourself as a scout and a troubleshooter for the group, then people will be like, oh yeah, of course, obviously, yeah, a group like this needs someone like that. You know, does that make sense? Lafdul?
Huh? Oh, sorry, I was typing to see that I wasn't paying attention at all.
Yes, thank you for
I'm
not
paying
paying attention
attention
to
when all
me
that
answering
was-
your question.
What? So many people were talking then.
So basically, I was saying that if you portray yourself as the group's scout and troubleshooter,
Oh, yes. Sorry, yeah.
then they would look at it as like, yeah, of course, obviously a group like this needs that.
All right. Yeah, no, that does answer the question I had, that's all.
Okay. Anything else that you guys wanted to discuss with each other before doing some of your own things?
I thought of something and it's slipping my mind. Would anyone be able to find a list of court cases that have happened recently?
That
And
would be
see if
something
it's
that
like-
your lawyer would do. The barrister that you hire would do.
Okay. So it's not the sort of
Should
thing
I?
scholars could find with the seekers.
you would have to go to the court basically for those records.
Yeah, those are records at the magistrates.
Should
Right.
I go to my church and see if they have any recommended lawyers, since it is like Tier's like a god of justice and stuff?
Mhm.
This is kind of his wheelhouse.
Oh, I wonder if any of the lawyers are like worshippers of Tyr or even priests of Tyr.
So,
Okay.
this is a little bit outside of justice and law. I mean, it is law, but it's outside of the justice part of it. They very much focus more on the criminal side. Lawsuits, on Brawl tend to be more, can you convince the jury that you're right? Obviously, there's procedures and things like that, but it's very much a he said, she said kind of thing. They present their story, you present your story, and you hope that the jury believes you and not them.
Okay.
And it is not a unanimous jury; it is just a majority.
Okay.
So you just need to convince more of them than your opponent.
Hey, Old.
Mhm.
You know that person's house, Bral Felderic.
Mhm.
Is that a warehouse or is it a business or what is it?
It's basically a warehouse and showroom. So like, there's a warehouse there, and if he gets more stuff in than he can store there, then he sometimes rents other warehouses elsewhere. But it's also like, a showroom where he shows off his current goods and things like that. But it is more of a, like, he's not generally selling to individual people. He's selling to the other merchants on Brawl primarily. Either people who would then ship the stuff off to another port, or like if he gets in a big, shipment of leather that he got pretty cheap, got a good deal on, then the leather workers on Brawl would come by to get, leather from him, as opposed to
No, it's like a stock import of like raw
Yeah,
stuff or
yeah.
something.
and there's just like, word gets around. There's places around that indicate where, what merchants have gotten in what goods recently and stuff like that. All right,
Right.
so Ockar's gonna check with his church. Finn and Lafdul are gonna go stop by the warehouse. What about the rest of you guys?
Solas would start gathering potential witnesses for our side.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where to go. So I'd probably try and talk to some of the people we were dealing with at the time, see if we can get them to agree to be witnesses.
Okay.
I mean, people we've helped and worked together would be what Solas thinks about.
Yeah.
And Leva?
I'm just thinking where the lever would go to the, let's say, to Luigi's again, to see whether they have more information about this particular merchant.
All right.
Yeah, I think that would be okay.
Okay. All right. Braxon and Solas, is this more of just a general thing, and you guys will decide on that, on exactly who you get to later, or do you have some specific people in mind that you want to roleplay out talking to?
What do you want to go first, Solas?
Well, Solas would at least ask character witnesses from the general. It's more general at the moment, since at the moment I'm only thinking about the Elven Imperial Navy and the Seekers to be character witnesses.
Okay.
Maybe also those people that helped us out in that we helped out in Chowtown.
Yeah.
We
But
also
Solas
helped a
doesn't
dwarven
really know.
noble.
Yeah.
Solas doesn't know them personally.
Right. So, I mean, if you guys want to think about that, like, in between sessions, that
Yeah.
is perfectly fine.
But for the moment, Elven Imperial Navy and the Seekers and the Shao people we helped.
Okay.
I think
Whoa.
seeing as this is the thing with the sword, Braxon.
It's more than that. It just started with that.
I understand that. I think seeing as this is the thing with the sword, Braxon would want to talk to the lower watch and see if our contact there is still around, and see if we can get a statement that we'd just been working in investigating on the murder of a member of the lower watch and were able to bring the culprit to justice. Yeah. And that later we went on to find someone that was aiding with piracy and falsifying information so that they could make false insurance claims on Bral. So I think he would want to talk to that guy if he's still around, because that relates to that time. The things later, we haven't been given specific allegations of what we're supposed to have done. So, yeah, we can try and get some character references, but I think those ones are relevant to that time.
Okay. Yeah, Lafdul, do you have something to say?
I was thinking it was after the shelving. It's a little bit later. It's before we went off to Crinspace. We did the Vixen.
That was part of the Shouttown stuff I was saying, right?
It was after, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, it was. Yeah.
The Werefox or whatever it was.
So
yeah.
Get some of the people involved with that we helped out as character witnesses too. Makes sense.
Yeah. A couple of my friends were friends. Well, the Thief Guild's members. I'm not saying that, obviously. Melrana was obviously a victim of that, and she would have been turned into a werewolf if she wasn't cured of that, but she could be a character reference to, if she's even still in Bral, of some other good deeds that we've done. I think Warriff was mind-controlled. Or seduced.
So you would need to be very, very careful about asking in members of the Thieves Guild as character witnesses. Not saying you can't do that. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying that you might want to really make some careful preparations about doing that.
Alright, no, that's fine. I probably wouldn't then in that case.
Well, I mean, keep it in mind. Keep it in mind.
Huge...
Like, again, even the people that you ask whether they're willing, A, they may say no, they're not willing, or B, you may decide that you don't need them to come in anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, just keep that in mind, and it's more along the lines of, like, find out whether there is a good way to explain, like ask around things that, so that it doesn't come out that they're members of the Thieves Guild and things like that. So, I don't want you to dismiss that as a possibility. Just think about how you go about it with that is careful.
We rescued them.
Mm-hmm.
And we took them to the Temple of Batar because they had the highest level priest, and I could just go from that angle. They had to cure this person.
Right, I know. I'm just saying that like, they will be questioned by your opponent, and you need to make sure that it is set up in such a way that they don't get an inkling that they're a member of the Thieves Guild. I mean, obviously, like, you're not known to be a member of the Thieves Guild publicly. So as long as it doesn't come up and there's no, kind of story about it. So, like, you would need to work out with them, how do you know them outside of the Thieves Guild? How do you explain their presence there without bringing up the Thieves Guild? Just make sure that that's ironed out if you want to bring them in, is what it is.
All right.
And that, I mean, it's entirely possible. It's just one of those things that you got to prepare for. So be ready to think about that. Okay. So, Ockar, you would head to your church to talk to Anghammarand, probably?
Yeah.
Okay. So what exactly do you want to ask him?
So, I'd tell him, our adventuring company has been served with a lawsuit. A man is suing us regarding some accidents, and I was hoping that you might know of a good lawyer that could help us with this, especially if they have any history going up against Holstoy and Gavik with some decent success.
Anghammarand strokes his beard. Well, ordinarily we represent ourselves when we have to do anything in the magistrates, being knowledgeable in the law, but this is a civil situation. I could do that, but then of course if you wish to refer to anything regarding the church, then I would be your representative, and that wouldn't be allowed. It would be a conflict of interest. If you're looking for some outsiders, I don't know of anyone specifically that has had to go against Holstoy and Gavich in particular, but I do know a barrister who is a follower of Tyr. He tends to do a lot of representation for people in the middle city and the low city who cannot represent themselves, but might be someone of interest to you. What was his name? Galver. He, I think he normally charges about 40 gold pieces an hour for the clients who are more well-to-do. I don't know if he's ever gone against Holstoy and Gavich, though.
Well then, I'll have to look into him. Thank you for this.
He's a good man, follower of Tyr, and does what he can to help out those who are in need.
Yes, I feel like I'll be able to trust this man, thanks to your recommendation.
Indeed. So basically, he's presented you guys with two options. You can check out this barrister, or you can actually ask the Church of Tyr to represent you.
But asking Church of Tyr would prevent them from being character witness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which might be good character witness.
I'll tell him. I'll look into this lawyer. I was hoping more to ask Church to ask as a character witness.
Yes, well, I mean, you started helping out the Company of the Broken Sword when they were looking for the murderers of those merchants and other individuals in Low City. I could certainly speak to my recommendation for you to them, and the other good deeds that you've done.
Thank you for that. I need to go look into this lawyer you recommended. Have a good day.
Yes, indeed, and we look forward to defeating this clearly trumped-up lawsuit against you and your friends, who've done much good in the name of Tyr.
Yes, thank you. He'll head out.
Lafdul randomly sneezes.
All right. So if you want to stop by Galver and just like inquire if he's willing to take the case, he would be willing to do so.
Okay. I'll keep him in mind then.
Okay. He would he doesn't have much of a staff either. But he would tell you that he's never gone up against Holstoy and Gavich. But he would say that at least the way that you're, the kind of case that you're dealing with, your main opponents are going to be whether, whoever you get as the jury or concilium.
Okay. That
Okay.
sounds good then.
So, Finn and Lafdul, it is about time for us to take our break. So, when we come back from the break, I think we'll go ahead and have you guys head over to the House Falderic and see what you can learn. Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so it is about time for us to take our break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Good time to stretch your legs, get something to eat or drink, and we will be back very shortly. About 10 minutes, everyone.
See you on the other side.